Okay, I saw the comments and I'm sorry that I made a part 2 for this story. I know you guys didn't want a part 2, but I ended up doing it, and I didn't end up posting about it at all this weekend because I was out camping with the boys. So you already know that I'm back home. I'm ready to do this, but before I get into the story, make sure you guys do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And on top of that, not to mention, I am live on Kick right now streaming and telling crazy stories live. So if you want to watch me live telling crazy stories just like this one, well, click the link in the description. Other than that, let's just jump straight into this. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to an insane story. So if you guys didn't see the first part of basically how I got my teacher pregnant, you're missing out. But basically, last where we ended off was basically the teacher that I ended up getting pregnant somehow ended up messaging me late at night on Snapchat telling me that I got her pregnant. Now, I remember when she told me that, I told her there was no way this was real. I messaged her a ton of times saying that maybe it's a false positive because my pullout game was literally 101%. There's no way in the middle of the Devil's Tango I managed to do that. But at the same time, the more I thought about it, the more stressed out I got, and I did not know what to do. Getting a teacher pregnant is a really big deal. Or actually, getting anyone pregnant at a teen age is a really big deal. Yeah, it was around my last year of high school, but still, it was really concerning. So I remember when the next day of school happened, I basically ended up going to school, and when I walked in there, I tried my best to avoid the teacher that I got pregnant. But the thing is that avoiding a teacher is almost mission impossible. If a teacher wants to hunt you down, they will hunt you down. So me, I remember throughout the school day as I was going to my classes, I would always check out the door before I ended up leaving to basically kind of make sure that I wouldn't get caught by the teacher that I ended up getting pregnant. I remember I looked around and I kept, basically jumping around the school, being careful and stuff, but then something insane happened where randomly on the announcements at lunchtime when I was in the cafeteria with the guys, I ended up hearing on the announcement saying, "Bubba, please come to the office, thank you." Now, I remember when they said that at lunchtime, I found it really weird because usually the school wouldn't do announcements at lunchtime. They would mostly do it around, times where students are more in focus. But apparently they called me down during lunch and I started stressing out. I'm like, bro, there is no way they just did that. I remember my friend looks at me saying, "Bubba, what'd you do? Did you do anything?" No, I don't know why I'm getting called down. So I remember out of stress and out of mind, I knew that maybe it had to do something with the teacher and getting her pregnant. So what I ended up doing was, well, plan B, which was no, not actually the pill plan B, but plan B for me was to basically ditch school. I ended up leaving school that day early and I ended up just skipping school for the rest of the day. I got in my car, drove straight home, and I just sat down stressing out thinking, what should I do next? To be honest, I was thinking about telling my parents about what happened, but to be honest, I don't think that would be the best idea because what are my parents gonna think? Me getting a teacher pregnant? That's insane! And I remember as I was sitting there contemplating on what to do next, I ended up getting a phone call. I ended up getting a random phone call from a number that I did not recognize, but when I answered it, I remember it was literally the teacher that I got pregnant. She ended up saying, Bubba, is this you? Hi, is what I said afterwards. She ended up telling me, Bubba, you were in my class today and I checked Snap Maps and you were at home. Do you want to tell me what's going on? I'm good. I'm just, just doing my thing, I guess. And then she ended up saying, Bubba, I know I kind of freaked you out yesterday night, but we really need to talk about this. I mean, do we really have to, is what I ended up saying. But yeah, one thing was for sure, she was not laughing. I remember I started panicking and kind of just started stressing out. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to think. And then that's when she told me, Bubba, is there any way I can see you tonight? Tonight? Like, you want to see me out of school? Okay. So I remember me and her, we ended up basically planning to go to our local Starbucks. When I got there, I remember I sat down inside and I just started waiting for her. But as I was waiting for her, I remember I sat there thinking, there is no way I got her pregnant. There's got to be an alternative. So then one thing led to another. I remember she ended up showing up and she walked into the Starbucks and she ended up saying to me, Bubba, listen, we really need to talk this through. I don't know if you told your parents already. I really hope you didn't because I think I'm going to be getting rid of the kid. What? Is what I said? You're getting rid of it? Now, at first, I'm not gonna lie, I was relieved. But then at the same time, I was kind of just weirded out because, well, I don't know, I never got anyone pregnant before, so I don't know how this whole thing works. So I remember I ended up telling her, okay, so what should I do? Do I just get a coat hanger? Do I push you down the stairs? She ended up looking at me with her eyes wide open saying, oh, but this is not funny. I know that, I just don't know what I'm supposed to do, is what I said afterwards. I'm not gonna lie, it was a really based comment when I said there, but you know what? I don't know, like, what else would I say? I didn't know what to say. I was stressing out. When I stress out, I say things that are pretty out of pocket or just a lot of nonsense. Anyways, afterwards, I remember when that ended up happening, she ended up telling me, Bubba, do you want to like maybe come back to my place and we just plan this out together? Why can't we plan it here is what I said. She ended up saying how she's feeling really hormonal and she wants to be in her own house. That's when I said, okay, let's head over. I remember I ended up going back to her place and basically one thing led to another. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I did mention this in a video before, but if you haven't seen the video where I basically explain why I always do the devil's tango, here's kind of a summary. I'm a hypersexual. So knowing that, and you guys knowing this now, I ended up basically going to her place. We ended up sitting on the couch and we ended up doing the devil's tango. I did the devil's tango with my pregnant teacher. Yeah, things aren't looking so good for me. I'm telling you that right now. But I remember after we finished, I remember she ended up basically like sitting beside me and she wasn't wearing anything. I kept staring at her cherries, but then she looked at me saying, Bubba, yeah, what's going on? Is what I said afterwards. Would you ever think about keeping the kid? What? Is what I said. I remember I ended up basically standing up saying, okay, listen, you're a teacher, I'm a student. You're gonna lose your job. That kid's not gonna have any income. And to be honest, I'd rather make you a single mother. When I said that, I remember she started crying. And now I know in these moments, you're usually supposed to comfort the woman and, you know, be there for her. But to be honest, she was my teacher. It's not like I wasn't gonna see her the next day at school. So I ended up just leaving. I know it's insane, but I just didn't want to be there anymore. So I ended up just leaving. I ended up getting in my car, driving straight home and just passing out, going to sleep. And when I went to school the next day, I remember I ended up basically going to all my classes and pretend that nothing happened. I thought I should, you know, man up and just pretend nothing happens before, you know, the boys or, you know, my friends or even teachers started figuring out that something was wrong with me. I ended up going to classes, doing everything I was supposed to do. And then this is where the story gets insane because I remember I ended up going to my IT class, the class that the teacher was teaching. And when I went there, I remember I ended up seeing how my teacher wasn't at school. She wasn't there. I don't know why she wasn't there. I was confused because, you know, it's not normal for a teacher just not to be there anymore. But then afterwards, I remember as everyone in the class started sitting down, sitting at their computers, waiting for the teacher to come to teach us our next class, we just sat there and the whole entire hour of our class, she wasn't there. She never showed up. Now, it's normal for me to ditch school, but a teacher ditching school is crazy. So me kind of stressed out worrying because obviously people are going to ask questions. I ended up basically going on my phone, went on Snapchat, and I messaged the teacher saying, yo, where are you? She ended up sending me a photo of her going to an abortion clinic, and she said that she had more important matters to worry about than teaching me about computers, which, I mean, fair enough. I mean, I'm not going to disagree. But yeah, one thing led to another. The next day, she ended up basically coming to school and the kid was gone. Now, I will say this much. I know abortions are a really strong topic nowadays on the internet, you know, pro-life, pro-choice. But at the end of the day, I mean, I was a teenager in high school. I didn't know any better. But anyways, guys, that is basically it for today's story. Make sure you guys do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And like I always say, just follow for more embarrassing stories. Peace out, guys.